lovely Friday morning, and good morning to you out there listening and watching from whichever part of the world. My name is Mudukwe Jacobs, and you're welcome to Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. And of course, you know that we are the first full HD TV station in Nigeria. And I have with me in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear. How are you?
How was your night? Fine. How was your night?
Fine. Mine was good.
Yes, I will say you look good this morning.
You too.
All right.
Okay. Now, so today we'll be talking about interior design, the art of interior design.
Yes.
And you know that so many people have their own idea of what interior design is about. And some of these ideas are not exactly what interior design is. But before I, go further into saying what I think interior design is, what do you think interior design is?
I think interior designing, it goes beyond beautification. It goes about having to put flowers on your table, having to put flowers on your desk or something in your office. It goes beyond putting colors together. It goes beyond knowing how to set your furniture in the appropriate places. I think there are steps you have to take, there are processes to actually take to be an interior designer. You have to research, you have to know your clients, you have to know what their interest is, and putting all of this together, because most people just feel they can just sleep and wake up, have a space that they could work with. Meanwhile, interior designers, these are people in the profession, these are people that understand what the profession is all about, and they know what to do. You might have an idea of the colors, how to match the colors, but do you actually have an idea of if the colors you're matching together actually fit in the space that you're working with? So you might know that, okay, maybe red and black or purple and white goes together, but for every space you have, now there's some kind of colors you can use for your official space, your office space. There's some kind of colors you can't even use for your home.
Yes.
So based on what you want, an interior designer can actually work with your interest and what you want and deliver it to you. And, most of the times you might not even have the time to sit down and research.
Yes.
Okay, what color is good?
For
okay,
this.
What kind of flower can you put? And all of that. But the interior designer would have an idea, have a knowledge of what to do and what not to do. And that is why we would actually be having one in the house to explain what interior design is all about. And, everything we need to know about interior design. Yes.
And just to add, designing a house or designing a space has gone beyond what we used to have. Where you build a house and then, okay, let me put this color together. I think purple and pink can go.
Would go.
And then, you just put it because you feel it's right.
Because you feel it's right. Another person can actually walk into the house and say, okay, pink. I thought pink is for children, for babies. Why would you have pink in your sitting room? Why would you have purple? Everyone have different ideas to something. But there's a way, someone who is in the profession, someone who understands these things, there's a way you can actually, the same purple and pink you would put together, there's a way they can do it, and then it looks attractive and still, have meaning.
Exactly. And, I've seen some amazing designs, interior designs that I wonder how they put it together.
Yes.
And that brings me, to a question I will like to ask our guest. I don't want to dish it out first, but, there's been an argument as to what interior deco is and what interior design is, if it's the same, if it's not. We'll get to find out today when our guest comes on the show.
I also want to add something, back then, I wonder, I think it's from the guest who would probably have a knowledge of that. But most times I wonder how, are you trying to say back then, we know that our forefathers usually have this hut, then they cover it up. Now, did we have interior designers back then to help them? Because they make use of clay pots, precious stones, to make the house.
To beautify the house.
Yes, to beautify the house. And are we going to say that they had interior designers back then put these things in place, So when our guest comes in, I'm sure
talking about if you actually had interior designs back then, it's amazing how people our forefathers back then, let me say forefathers to not sound ancient, but, you know, our fathers, grandfathers back then, you know, designed the house in such a way that, you know, some houses, let me generalize now, are so beautiful and so amazing, you know, that you wonder if they actually went to study
it,
you know, to know how to put this color together, to know what chair should be here, what color of chair should be in the sitting room, or what type of chair, you know, furniture should be in the sitting room. And, you know, all these things just brings a lot of questions, you know, to mind. And the fact that, you know, these days we have young people, especially the guests that we have today.
And I must say young and vibrant.
Very young and vibrant, you know. And, you know, has been able to carve a niche for herself in the interior design sector. Should I say sector now? Yes, interior design sector. And she's doing very well. I have had the opportunity to see some of her designs, and they are, you know, amazing. So I will like to know from her how she was able to do all that. Sometimes it looks like magic, you know.
And you know, sometimes most people actually want their house or their office to tell the kind of career they do, kind of profession they do. You can just walk into somebody's house, and then from the designs you see around, you can figure out what that person is. Imagine if you walk into a space where you have a design of a guitar on the wall, or you have a design of so many musicians around the wall. Now that can tell you that this person,
a lover of music,
yes,
or the
is a
person
lover of
is
music
an
or is an artist. So most times you find out that people actually want their houses and their offices to portray who they are. And I'm sure we'll look at all of this in today's episode.
So, before we do all the talking, you know, and forget that we actually have to go on a break and bring our guests in, we will be going on a short break. And, you know, please don't go anywhere. I would like to say,
you have to
go anywhere and stay tuned. Yes. Please don't go anywhere. Stay glued to High Impact TV, tea or coffee, because we'll be right back after this break.
A thrilling and bonding experience at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Enjoy an amazing retreat in our extremely secured environment with our breathtaking rides. Set goals for the upcoming year in our convenient multi-purpose halls. Bond between team members while giving your staff a desirable treat. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're not so late because we're about to get down into the show. You're welcome, and it's still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. You know, before we went on break, we tried to discuss or say brief things about the topic for today, which is the art of interior design. And before we went on break, we told you our guest is young and vibrant, and I'm sure you would see for yourself that she is actually young and vibrant. We have Tomi Bangbelu, a creative director for Spazio Ideal. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thank
All
you.
right. So you're an interior designer, and a creative director.
Yes.
Now, from the professional aspect, tell us what interior design is all about.
Okay, interior design is about designing spaces that are functional and aesthetically appealing.
Okay.
So the first thing you have to do as an interior designer is to make it functional for whoever is using the space. So every space is different because everybody's personality is different. No two people are the same. So if you're designing a space, whether it's residential or commercial, no two companies are the same either. You have to understand the way a company functions or a person functions, and then design the space to fit the way they work or the way they live, and then to fit their taste or style. That's what interior design is in a nutshell.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
So when you, as an interior designer, when you walk into a space, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
It depends. So I could walk into a space and the first thing I see is how is the space designed or arranged. That's the first thing that I see. If I like it, that will make a compliment. If I don't, I'll just keep quiet.
Okay. So
But basically, it's just to see how the things in the space are arranged. If there's anything creative, if there's anything I would have done differently. Because also no two designers would design a space the same way. Yes, if there are things I could pick up from the space, maybe the way something else has been designed, something I wouldn't have thought of. So those are the things I would pick out from a space when I walk in.
okay, but what if the space is an empty space?
If it's an empty space, so usually you could create things in different ways. If it's an empty space and I'm giving free reign, sometimes it takes time because then there are like different ideas jumping in your head, whether you want to hang a chandelier or whether you want to hang an entire bicycle or a motorcycle from the ceiling. So it depends. However, if it's going to be a space where I have to do, where it's a job, before I even start designing with the million ideas running in my head, I need to first understand what the person wants and how the person wants to live. So there are a lot of things you tend to do or you have to do, which is, if it's a company, for example, I have to ask, why do they need an interior designer? Because why is it important to them? What objective are they trying to achieve? Is it to increase profitability or is it to make their staff much more comfortable? Is it to increase collaboration? Or is it for their clientele to make sure so that their clientele feel comfortable in their space or to reflect their brand? So depending on what they say, then it would direct us on what it is you're trying to achieve. Then we need to know how they work. Who are they? What's now your brand? Are you a fun company or a serious company? Are you a playful company? So same thing applies to residents. Do you like, for a residential apartment, I could ask the lady, do you like shoes? Do you like watches? Because if you don't think of those functions and a lady has shoes and she has like a million shoes and you're done designing the space and you don't have like a very massive like shoe rack for her, the space is not functional. So those are things you ask first before you now start saying, okay, so now I want to design a shoe rack that is functional for her. How do I make it nice? Does she like gold touches? That's when you now start putting the aesthetic appeal into it.
Okay, so you need to know the interest of your client first.
Yes, you need to understand who they are, whether it's a company or a person, because the space is about them. They are going to live in that space. They're going to function in their space.
True.
Interior design is meant to make life easy for people. So it's not just making a space beautiful. People are meant to wake up in their space and feel refreshed before going to work. They're meant to come back to their space. That's if it's a residential apartment. They're meant to come back to their space and feel calm or feel happy. They're not meant to come to your space and then you want to sleep at night, and usually at night you're probably with your phone and there's no socket beside your bed. So before you go to bed, you're thinking, my phone, how do I charge it? No, you're meant to make everything exactly easy depending on how the person lives. Some people don't want TVs in their rooms, so you don't put a TV. Some people do, so you have to make sure you have a space for a TV because before they go to bed, they're watching TV in their room. So you have to understand who your client is and then design a space to fit that client. It's after the function, so you now think of, oh, the client likes flashy stuff. She likes pink, she likes purple, but that comes later. After function.
All right. A lot of people tend to, mix up what an interior decorator is and an interior designer. So what is the difference between interior decoration and interior design?
Okay. So interior decoration is a subset of interior design, just the way interior design is a subset of architecture, right? So you can't call an interior designer an architect. They are interior architects, but an interior designer is not an architect, right? An interior decorator is not an interior designer. It's a subset of interior design. So decoration would not basically, might think of a bit of function, but they won't do a lot of major changes. So a decorator will come and do, oh, you want flowers in your space, you want your curtains, you want plants. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking at functions most of the time. They're not looking at how does this person actually live. You're looking more of how will this space look beautiful. It's more like makeup. Okay, I've heard someone say this before, that interior decoration is like a makeup artist, and then interior design is like a plastic surgeon. They're two different things. Makeup is temporary. Plastic surgeon will pretty much reconstruct your face. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you just talked about interior design being a subset of architecture. Can you explain that?
Okay, so architecture is, okay, we're talking about buildings generally and the way people live. Architecture is, you're thinking of structures, of the outside, of the form, but interior design is just like a very tiny aspect that doesn't have to do with structures or forms or I can't get the word, but interior design is pretty much just a sub-part that just has to do with how you live inside the space. It's not talking about the outside or the exterior or...
So architecture is exterior.
It's not exterior, but it's more of, the structure.
The structure, okay.
You can't do interior design if you don't have a space at all, right? And that space is architecture, right? But then they work hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Yes.
All right. So most times, you tend to, like you mentioned now, is a interior design is a subset of architecture. All right. So how did you build a career for yourself in interior design? Because looking at it, before we went on break, I was telling her that I wonder how, back then we have our forefathers, will I say forefathers or grandfathers?
Grandmothers.
Back then we have them build huts and now, was there interior design in place at that time? And, looking at now, how did you develop and build a career for yourself in interior design?
Okay, I have no idea about history in Africa, right? But interior design has been around for a very long time. That's what I can say. It's just growing in a country like Nigeria. In some other parts of Africa, it's not even as solid or as well known or accepted yet. How I built a career in interior design. At first, I really wanted to study architecture, but then I couldn't because it's a long story. I was better at technology, which is IT.
IT.
Yeah. Funny enough, it's making so much money now. I wonder why I just stopped. But anyway, so I was good at IT, and I studied IT instead. I worked in IT for a while, and then I've always wanted to do architecture and interior. So after a while, I left IT and went to school abroad in interior design, and that's how I started.
All right. So you came in to the studio, and I saw your reaction, and I was asking you, it means that there is, some sort of connection between a set designer and an interior designer. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what is the connection?
So set design is, so it's like a broad field with everything just has subsets. So you have interior designers, for example, that focus only on offices or residence, and you have people that only focus on exhibition, right? You have people that only focus on, so you could decide what it is you want to do. Right? The thing with set and interior, for example, for commercial or residential is set is the brand you're working with or your objective you're trying to achieve is different. So you're not talking about the way they live or the way, this is about how the audience is going to see your set or what message you want to portray. So that's different. That's one major difference, for example. And then sets are temporary in a way. They're never permanent structures, right? Yes. Nobody lives in a set. It's just for a few period or a short period of time. Some people decide to go into set design. It's a subset, but it depends on what it is you want to do. Yeah.
Okay. So when we were talking about the definition of an interior designer or interior design, I was of the opinion that most people just think interior design is, let me put this piece of pretty furniture here. Let me put pink and purple as the the color of the
color,
room, put a flower vase or something. But there is more to interior design because while I was trying to get my thoughts together exactly what interior design is about, I was able to find out that there is more to it. Like there's research. Am I correct?
Oh yes, definitely.
You do research, you do other things. I want you to expatiate and tell us in detail what an interior designer does before they actually put up structures.
Okay, so yes, it takes time. For example, the first thing you do is understand your client.
Okay, like
whoever
you
it
said.
is, even if it's a set, understand what your client wants, and that's what we call brief taking.
Okay.
So you take the brief, what it is they want to achieve, why is very important. The
Okay.
why is actually very important. Why they want to achieve it, because then it tells you where you're going or why you need to do what it is you want to do. You need to understand who they are, right? So that's the first part, understanding your client or the project. Then the next thing is research or come up with ideas. And that's where research comes in. And research is not just project basis.
Okay.
There are industry trends you have to always be familiar with or keep up with. So things are changing every day. Now people are saying we shouldn't use plastic because there is outcry on how plastic is. So you have to know all of that. What new materials are coming in? How can you make a furniture differently?
Okay.
So you have to pretty much be in
tune with
what is happening.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one. And then even for the project, you have to understand what it is or how you can do things differently. You might not, nobody's a body of knowledge, so you might need to check other spaces. So it's something we call gathering inspiration.
Inspiration, okay.
Yes. So sometimes the client will tell you, okay, I like this place, I like this place, I like this place. Now, inspiration is not imitation.
Okay.
Two different things. So I see a lot of, I don't say I see a lot of interior designers, but a lot of people tend to imitate, and that is not inspiration. So naturally, you're meant to get ideas from anywhere you want to get it. You can get it from previous designs. You can get it from the ocean. You can get it from anywhere, inspiration. You can get it from the clouds. You can just be driving off and just see something and get inspiration. You can get inspiration from a marketplace or a market woman, anything. Gather inspiration, that's the first set, and then think of how you can get that inspiration into the project or your objective. Then when you're done, then the hard work starts, because inspiration is still pretty much easy.
Okay.
That's the lovey-dovey
That's more of
phase.
recreation. You get inspiration and then you recreate.
And then you create.
Yeah,
So you take your inspiration and then you refine it, not imitate, not copy and paste.
All right.
So yes.
Talking about imitation is not
Inspiration.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that when we have to go on a break now.
Yes.
When we come back, we'll talk more about imitation not being inspiration in interior design. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Finecraft is here to encourage the spirit of creativity and craftsmanship.
This as well. Okay, I think it's okay. If we have a pressing iron, you can as well.
This is so beautiful.
Exclusive to High Impact Television. Exclusive to High Impact Television.
Welcome back. This is still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. First full HD TV station in Nigeria. Yes, I said it again. Okay, so before we went on that break, we've been talking to Tomi Bangbelu, creative director, Spazio Ideal. Yes, and you have been enlightening us as to what interior design is about. And you mentioned, imitation not being inspiration.
Not being inspiration,
Please,
yes.
can you elaborate?
Okay, so we're discussing the stages of designing a space.
Okay.
And I think we got to the part where I said you have to gather inspiration, and you could gather it from previous works of other people, from the market or driving or the sea or the sky, whatever it is, even from trees actually. Trees are one of my favorite places to get inspiration.
Okay.
However, inspiration is not imitation. So you see a space someone else has done and they have a particular drawing on the wall. You don't copy and paste, right? The drawing on the wall is meant to give you an idea.
Okay.
So, okay, they did this. How can I modify it to fit my space, right?
Okay.
That is getting inspiration from it, not just taking the exact thing that is done and then repeating it on the wall, or taking the exact layout of a space and repeating it for someone else, or the exact color scheme. Color schemes is easy to actually imitate. But when it comes to other aspects of a space, I don't think you should imitate. You're meant to just usually take inspiration from that space and then create
yours.
Yes. So it is not all about imitation, but you have to be innovative also.
Yes, you have to be innovative as an interior designer. No one wants the same space.
Okay, so tell me, what are the challenges you face as an interior designer?
And that is we going into how you've been able to grow,
Yes.
as an interior designer.
Interior designer, because there are challenges that would come your way.
Exactly.
The challenges aren't... the challenge for an interior designer isn't any different from every other person. It's the same for every business. That's if you're looking at it from a business aspect. Challenges in terms of getting clientele, growing, getting the right staff, getting the right products. So yeah, there are challenges everywhere. Getting adequate funding. Those are challenges you see even as a business person. As an interior designer, you have challenges with the market, so things aren't easily accessible in a market like ours in Nigeria. Although we have places for things like that, but they're not easily accessible. Unlike when you go abroad, where you have a particular mall or a shop that has everything, or you can get everything online. Also, we don't have, I won't say we don't have, but good quality artisans are extremely expensive, and you hardly have people who want to pay for that. Right, so you have to deal with a lot of mediocrity all around. Those are challenges you would see. Those are challenges I think I have seen so far in design aspects and then in business.
All right. So to be an interior designer, what are the qualifications that you should have? I'm saying that because, back then, it was more of I have a job. And then, I just love to design things. So I think I will go into interior design. But now it's more of a profession, So what are the qualifications that one should have to be an interior designer?
And to even add to that, when applying for jobs, they tend to say you must have like 5 years experience, you must have 2 years experience. Some even say 10 years experience, So what are the experiences you need to have before you can be identified as an interior designer?
Okay. Currently, though, from what you said, there's still a lot of people who are, I like interior, I want to go into it. And it isn't bad. It was the way I started. However, after doing my very first mini project, it was very small, I realized I was crap because I was like, what's this? So yes, I knew that for you to do anything well, you have to be educated about it. Even though currently we don't have a lot of educated interior designers in the country, or people who call themselves interior designers, but usually it's like you being a medical doctor. You have to go to school. You wouldn't go to a doctor who didn't go to school. It's the same thing about interior. Abroad, it is taken very seriously. You have to pretty much have a degree, either a diploma or a 4-year degree in interior design. We have masters in interior design.
Wow.
Yes. You also have bodies so you have to do professional exams or join a professional body in interior design. We also have a professional body in Nigeria for interior designers. And then abroad, there are also professional bodies abroad. Naturally,
Can you mention one of professional bodies in Nigeria that
IDEN.
regulates?
It is IDEN. IDEN is
Okay.
the only professional body or registered professional body in Nigeria. That's the
Nigeria.
Interior Design Association of Nigeria.
Okay.
They are a body of IFI. That's International Federation of Interior Designers in the UK. So that's the only recognized professional body of interior design in Nigeria. You have to pretty much be part of that body also. And then people who just want to start interior design, who don't want to go to school, the basic you need basically is to know the tools of trade. So you don't go into interior design just saying, oh, I like spaces, but then you can't present your work to a client. So you have to know the tools. It's like you have to know things like AutoCAD, or you have to know how to draw, you have to know how to do 3Ds, you have to know how to source, you have to know how to put a space together, or you have to know how to present. So those are things you pretty much need to know for you to at least join an interior design organization.
All right. You know, there is this popular saying that customers are always right.
Oh, yes.
So your clients are actually the main source, and you know they are very important to your line of career. So how do you deal with, will I say, difficult or clients who are
that-
usually not satisfied? How do you deal
Exactly.
with your clients?
Clients are always right, yes. Customer is king. We understand that. Usually I don't think it's any different from any other business or any other organization. You have to be patient with your client. You have to listen to your client. I think the only caveat we have in Nigeria with clients that I don't think they are right with that
Okay.
is when they try to speed up a process. Which usually would take, you can't give birth to 9 babies by impregnating, or a baby in 1 month by impregnating 9 women. It doesn't make sense. That's a process, 9 months. So yes, but usually we're dealing with clients, you just have to pretty much be patient, listen to them, because they also know where they're coming from and how they feel, right? So once you can find a middle ground, if not anything, find a middle ground with your client and just make sure the work is done. It's not everything will be rosy, obviously. There will be issues, you would have complaints, but the thing is, get the job done. You're there for a job, make sure that is done perfectly, if not anything else.
All right, still talking about clients, you know, you walk into a house and you see how beautiful and it looks good. Definitely you would want to ask, okay, how did you put up this together? Who helped you? Did you do it yourself? And a situation where you have a client, you know that the idea that the client is bringing up is not something that would make your work creative or come out well. How do you convince that client? Because they can, you know, this is what I want and this is it and that is it. They don't even want to understand how, you know, they don't want to listen to your own idea. And at the end of it, when you put it up the way they want it, people come in and okay, why is it looking this way? Now, they would not tell, they will probably not tell whoever asked that, okay, it's me that told
To just say,
they say,
tell
it's
me.
my interior design now. That is what she put there. So how do you actually convince and make them understand that, no, you see what you're saying, this is how it can be done?
Okay, so that's a very valid point, and I think I've had a few cases of that. But the thing is, first of all, you have to understand that the client is bringing you in for a job, right? If the client knew what to do, then there is no need to hire you. If you understand that, you would know how to discuss with the client. So you're not bringing you, if they're bringing you just to implement, then you could bring someone else. But if they're paying you for design, that's for creative ideas, then they are meant to at least you're meant to, if not, tell the client that you're paying me for this and I have to do that job. If I allow you to do this way, then I'm not doing my job. I should just pretty much just refund the money back to you. Right? And then there should be an objective. That's why there is always an objective at the beginning. You can always go back to the objective and the why and tell the clients, this is what you said you want to achieve. To achieve this, this is what we need to do. This is why you want to achieve this. For us to achieve this, this is what we need to do. And that's why you need those things at the beginning. Why they're hiring an interior designer, right? Because if they're hiring you to just do whatever it is they want to do, then you're not coming in as a designer. You're coming in as a project manager or a contractor. It's different ball game entirely. So, but when those deliverables are set from the beginning, then it's easier to actually manage the clients because the client already understands this is what it is you're going to do. Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned that, when we're talking about people who just love to decorate and then they say, okay, I want to be an interior designer because I love putting colors together. You said that's how you started. Is that right? Okay. So how did you start? You started that way, obviously, but aside after that, what else did you do? At what point did you decide that you wanted to study or, know more about it?
What year did you start and how long have you been doing this?
Oh, okay. I actually, I knew I was always going to want to study because as a firm believer that you have to, whatever it is you have to do it well. So I don't think if there are schools for interior design and there are exams for interior design, then I can't call myself an interior designer if I don't go to school.
Yes.
I first did one of the schools here in Lagos and did my first project and saw the training wasn't adequate enough. When I did the first, it was actually for the house where I stay, my mother's house, and everybody liked it, but I knew it wasn't what I wanted or the taste I got, how far I could go. And then I decided to study thereafter. I went to school in Italy in 2012 or 13, I'm not certain. And then I worked for a bit in the industry before starting my own business. I've been in business for almost 4 years now. Yeah.
4 years. Wow. I must chip this in. I have seen some of your designs and they are amazing.
It doesn't even seem as if you've been doing it just 4 years. It feels like you've been into it for a long time.
So I want to ask, how were you able to build your portfolio? Because I know, Nigeria is a blessed country, and then, to break in just 4 years, and then, I must say, if I mention Tommy Bangbelu, you're known to an extent.
And you've even gotten to the point of being a creative director.
I've seen those you've worked for, and I'm like, okay, this is amazing. How were you able to build that portfolio?
Well, I won't say we wouldn't be able to. I don't think we've been able to build a good portfolio yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Because most of our clientele currently are from referrals.
Okay.
And I think for you to actually grow a sustainable business, people should come to you just because of it's you. Not because of someone said, oh, I know this very great person, check our work. Right? But for how far we've gone, which to be honest hasn't been bad. I don't think it's that good, but hasn't been bad. We've been able to build a portfolio by a bit of referral, and then making sure we give our clients the best price. Yes, and make sure we deliver on our word. I think one thing that sets us apart is creativity. So people actually come to us because we are creative, and we try not to copy. We try not to imitate. It's important to us not to imitate. So I think that's one thing people come to us for. And then they tell their friends, and then their friends tell other people, and then that's pretty much how we've been able to grow.
Okay, so you said we.
That's the company.
So you have a team?
Oh yes, we have a team. It's not just myself. We have a project supervisor, we have someone in procurement, we have other designers working with us.
All right. You mentioned earlier about having interior design as your hobby. It was something you enjoy doing. Okay, so there's this perception about people thinking that interior design should actually be a side job, something you just do as a business while you still do your day-to-day job, while you still work in corporate organizations. Now, someone like you now, you chose it as your major career, something you want to do for a living. I'm sure there are other people out there also doing the same. So what do you think has changed per time of people's mentality that interior design should be a side job?
Interior decoration can be a side job.
Okay.
Interior design cannot be a side job.
Okay.
Usually, when you design a space, an interior. Okay, let me give the perspective so I think it's a little bit more clear.
Okay.
Imagine you're building a house, and that's the way it is done usually abroad, or that's the way it is meant to be done. You're building a residential apartment. a 4-bedroom apartment and you're starting, your architect has given you a plan. You haven't even broken ground or gone to site to start. When you get a plan from your architect, the next person you're meant to speak with before even laying a foundation is an interior designer.
Okay.
Right? Because you already have a carcass, but you don't know if that space works for you. You don't know if you need, and I've seen spaces like that doesn't work for a client, but they are done already. There's very little an interior designer can do. The best is just to maybe help. You have a room, but you don't have enough storage, and you're a Nigerian family that you go to a party every Saturday, they're giving you buckets, they're giving this, but then your store is super small. But then you build the house without calling an interior designer who thinks that, oh, my client goes to a party, because that's when you understand your client. Go to a party every day, you check their the way they live currently. They have a lot of junk, so they need a very large store. That's what an interior designer is meant to do at the beginning, and that's where we talk about function. You have a large store, or I'm going to have a third baby, so you have to have a baby room or a nursery. I like shoes, so you have to have a very big closet. I like to read, so I have to have a corner where I can read. Those are functions you have to think of before you even start building. Before you even break ground, usually. And you can't do that as a side job, because you're there from the beginning of the building till the end of the building. So yes, that's the way it's meant to be.
So architects are to work with interior designers.
Yes,
while
we work
building
hand
a
in
house.
hand. Yes.
Wow.
All right, so you must need license to work as an interior designer.
You must need what?
Is it compulsory to have a
license.
license to work as an interior designer?
Abroad, yes.
Okay.
In Nigeria, maybe not. Not yet. We haven't gotten there, but you can pretty much work as an interior designer as long as you know what to do, basically. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So are there different aspects of interior design?
So the aspects I can break interior design into when you say different aspects, is it in terms of
Like what you specialize in?
Okay,
Or let me put it this way. Can we say set design is an aspect of interior design?
Okay, so you can say yes.
Okay.
Those are, so you have people, that it depends on what an interior designer wants to focus on. So you have a lot of people focusing on residential. So you have a lot of residential interior designers.
Okay.
You have commercial interior designers, people who just focus on just commercial spaces, offices. You have people who focus on retail stores. So we don't have a lot of retail designers in Nigeria. I'm seeing a few up-and-coming spaces. So if you go to Lekki, you see a few spaces that are up-and-coming that you can see that, yes, this was done like a proper retail design. You have people who do visualization and merchandising. It's a sub of retail design. So those guys just focus on your shop windows, creating shop windows. I've seen amazing shop windows. Abroad, you have a dinosaur in your shop window for a clothing store.
Wow.
And those are things, some people just focus on just that, just visualization and merchandising. So yes, those are aspects. If you're looking at
Okay,
interior
in a
design.
situation where you have a client that wants to achieve a big result, a desired particular result, and has limited resources,
Low budget.
is not low budget, and is not even willing to pay you, to get those resources, how do you handle such? What do you do?
Okay, so as an interior designer, the truth is you're meant to solve problems, right? Whether it is a cost problem or a design problem, you're meant to solve problems. That's our job. However, there are ways to go about a low budget clientele. If the client is willing to do what needs to be done, then you can achieve an interior with a low budget. But then I hardly see people who actually who are willing to give what it needs to take. So I'll give an example of if you have a low budget abroad and how people do their spaces they do their spaces with just $100 or $200. They do their spaces with that little, but they spend a lot of time to achieve it. So if you're working with a budget that is $500, that means you're going to be building your bed yourself. But nobody wants to build their bed themselves in Nigeria, right? You want to pay someone to do it, or you want someone else to do it. Therefore, you have to pay the person to do it. So doing a low budget requires you actually doing a lot of things yourself, right? But then another thing is, or another way to work with a low budget client is, they can pay you for the design and then implement it themselves. and take their
Okay.
time to implement it. So usually at the end of a design phase, interior design, a project can be divided into the design part and then the project management part.
Okay.
So at the end of design, you have like a document you give to your clients that details every single thing in the space. What your walls will look like, the color of your walls, the texture of your walls, what your chair will look like. For example, if it has like special things like the leather or
Okay.
it has weavings at the side, all of that will be detailed in the
Okay.
design. If the legs are going to be gold or silver, detailed in the design, and you give it to your client, and then they're meant to take that and work with it. So if they don't want you to implement because it's expensive, you can do the design and give it to them, and then they can implement it
All right.
as they go.
All right, we're running out of time, but
Yes.
I'm going to paint a scenario to you. Imagine I am your client and I want my house or my office to speak what I do, to speak of my profession and my career. Now, I'm a TV presenter. What would you put in place for me?
That information is too low for me to give you an answer. To
Okay.
represent
So that's where you were talking about details.
details.
The why.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So I need more
yes.
information. I
Okay.
can give you a bunch of stuff that might not fit in. TV presenter, what sort of TV presenter are you? Are you sports? Are you, if it's a
I
sport
am
person,
tea or coffee.
tea or coffee? Okay, fine. Tea or coffee. I'll give you an example of something we can do, but then this
Okay.
might not even fit into your space. Won't fit. I doubt it will fit into your space. So I'm just going to just generalize for someone who loves tea or coffee. Someone who
Okay.
loves tea or coffee. For example, we can have your mugs. I'm glad you
Yes,
guys
and I
put them
just
up. Can have your mugs and we could turn them into pendant lights, right? So I'll drill the bottom of it and then put a bulb inside and make them pendant lights. That's something I can put in your space to just show that I do tea or coffee.
All right, so you just put up the mugs.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then as
So is that
pendant
for
lights.
my house or for office environment?
Probably be for an office environment, not
Okay,
for
for
your
my house. What if I want, like, I want people to come into my house and realize that, okay,
Yes,
this
you
person
are a
staying here
TV
is a
presenter.
presenter.
A TV presenter. I have no idea. Not now. Not
Not
enough.
now.
Not enough information.
Okay,
All right.
so we
Yes.
are about to wrap up the show, but just in a few words, in a sentence, what advice do you have for interior designers? Upcoming interior designers that have the passion for it and want to grow. What do you advise? What advice would you give them?
Okay, for those who want to join the industry or the profession, first thing I would advise is to learn.
Okay.
Learn, and learn. Before you can actually even earn money, first thing you do is learn. Learn what it means to be an interior designer.
Okay.
Understand what your job is,
Okay.
and then go for it. Don't let anything limit you. The fact that you're not even schooling abroad, because you may say, oh, I have to school. No, you don't have to school abroad. You just have to learn and understand what it is you have to do. Basically, that's my advice.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much, Tommy, for joining us on the show.
Thank you. It's been amazing. I've actually learned a lot as interior design, and
Great.
some doubts, some misconceptions
Yes,
have been
we
cleared.
had.
Yes. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming.
for joining us. All right,
Yes.
it is here we have to wrap up the show for today. I'm sure you learned quite a lot because I did also.
Yes.
Till we meet again, same time, same station, I remain Raola Popola.
And I remain with Dupe Jacobs. Enjoy your weekend.